to the last part of this making an interactive PDF series. Strange sessions these. So basically I downloaded a video from YouTube using the traditional methods. Feel free to just Google it. I'm not going to give any links just because of legality and all that. But if I set up this page as I have the other pages, stick a regular 4GT behind it, and create a new layer, duplicate the frame, and paste a new one on top of preferably the blurry one that we made in Photoshop. That's all good. Now I'm going to create a button. This is a button that's going to help with video playback. You can set this button easily with Command and B so you can get into the text frame options. As soon as I've done this font, there we go. Command and B brings this up. So in here, this section determines how much space is between the borders and the contents. Essentially, its own little margin around it. I'm also going to align everything to the center, which is the bottom underneath it. So here it is in real time. See the difference it made? This means that the text isn't going to be touching the edge of the button, which would look a little bit shabby. I know this thing looks shabby anyway, but that doesn't matter. When you're doing this properly, you can do each buttons in any shape, any form, however you want it to go. And if you want to create the buttons within InDesign, then that's the easiest way of mucking about with it, kind of making it conform to the shape. So I've got to watch the video, which is essentially a play button, a stop watching the video, which is a stop button. And also, one of the cool things about interactive PDFs in InDesign is you can set kind of chapter points within a video, so you can go straight to those. Also, you can put web links in there as well, which we're going to do. This is going to go straight to Ford.com when we set that up. And you can do navigation buttons to move throughout the interactive PDF. So you can essentially make it like an interactive book if you wanted to. I'm going to convert all these to buttons because they all need to be. But then just go and color everything up using the colors that I made earlier on from the image behind, just so it fits in a little bit more with the theme. And just pretty it up a little bit. So now comes the scary bit of actually putting a video in here. So here's a video that I got from the internet. I just drag it on top. That's gone to the frame. So I need to drag it off. There we go. Spread it out to the size I want. Perfect. And it really is that easy, just embedding a video within it. However, if your video is massive in size for a huge file type and you include it within the links of a package, that's going to be massive. You can link stuff from YouTube, so that's another way of doing it. So if you upload something and then use the embed, there is a way of doing that. But if you want to do that, contact me and I'll get you through it. So we've also got the option for a controller. So essentially when you hover over the video, if you have any playback controls or not, you can choose to have these, you can choose not to, or you can make your own custom buttons at the bottom that do exactly the same thing. Also, we can add some chapter markers as well. So you go to a certain point in the video, you just play it through in this little window, you select a point and it'll tell you that that is now a new chapter. Essentially, it's like skipping through it. So you can have your buttons on the left-hand side that I've got in this document set up. So when you click on it, it goes directly to a point in the video. It's quite convenient. And it's probably helpful to name them as well. So now going into buttons and forms, we convert this to a button, and so what it's going to do, it's going to be the play button. Obviously name it so it's not inconvenient. On click, we want it to do something with a video. Thankfully there's an option for video. There's also an option for sound as well, so if you want to hover over something and have it make a really obnoxious noise, you can do. Also change the rollover settings, just for basic user interface help. I'm just going to change the opacity on mine, so when you're hovering over it, it's a button that does something. Preferably when we click this, we can either darken out the background, or in my case, we're going to put the blur image behind it. I need to convert that to a button first of all, and it's going to be hidden until triggered. So when I click on watch the video, the blurry background should appear and the video should start playing. However, the other controls should still be there because you don't want to lock anyone out of being able to navigate through this. It's an idea to do stuff with video and audio with a click, because if people are a little bit overzealous with their mouse movements, then they might accidentally navigate through the video very quickly, and it definitely has the option of crashing this, because interactive PDFs, when they are running, if they are quite complicated, they can be very touchy. So bear that in mind. If you think you're going to accidentally do something, such as roll over this gnome button, then not go straight to that part of the video. If that part of the video has a particularly loud noise, as it's intending to, then if you keep accidentally rolling over it, it's going to cause a fair amount of discomfort for anyone that's going to be using this. So on video, we can go to play from a navigation point, select the point, and it's really that simple. It's essentially just a chapter marker, same as old DVD menus back in the day. This could be helpful if someone's going to be asking you a question about a video that you've put on there. Say, so at this point, you can go, I can go straight to this point. Bear in mind, to stop watching the video will actually cause it to stop, and you're going to have to play it back from the beginning. There is an option for pause and play, but if you click on watch the video, then it's going to start the video from the start again. So bear that in mind. Have a play around with the controls, and some of you might find it a little bit easier just to have the hover over controls on the video. So let's check a preview, see if this works. Hopefully it does. Perfect. Video's fine. And stop brings the background back. Brilliant. So the next thing we want to do is create a web link. This, I just wanted to go to ford.com. So you click on hyperlinks, type in whatever you want it to do. Make sure you test it out. That works, and if it's green, that means it can find something, or it knows that that's an actual link, because if not, then I'll just come up with an error and crash the damn thing. So even in this preview, it's going to go straight to ford.com. Perfect. It's always best practice as well to open up a link in a new tab, not in the same tab. But then the start of this thing, button, this is going to go back to the start. I'm just going to rename it something useful. And it's going to be a click, because we definitely don't want this to be a hover over, just in case they move their mouse to the bottom right of the screen. This is going to be go to page, and this is going to be going to the first page with anything useful on it. Because my first page, remember, has those little squares. So this is going to be page 2, which is technically the start of this. Obviously, for proper export, that will be removed. So if we click on that, click on the 3, sometimes this doesn't work. Just like that, it didn't work. Because the 3 options down at the bottom of the last 2, the single page only does the current page, and the last one does every page, but it doesn't always work. So I'm going to create some more navigation buttons here, so we can go to the next page, previous page, the usual kind of stuff. The handy thing about that is the buttons do not restrict themselves to a single page. If you go like to a forward and net, I want a proper rectangle for that. There we go. Choose what you want your button to do. Make sure it is friendly for the user. You can't just call it something strange. So next page is fairly obvious what it does. Once again, in those Command B text frame options, set it up, and I've sent it to text. So no matter where I am on it, it's going to fit. Looks terrible, but it works. It's a button, and on click, this is going to take me straight to the next page. You can get transitions, but I'll let you find those for yourself. But please don't overuse those because they can look really ropey. I want to get rid of this page now. No. So bear in mind my last go to page is no longer going to work because I set that to go to page 2. So I will need to adjust that. So hopefully while you're making yours, you're doing a decent amount of notes. So save your document. And the next thing we've really got to do is export. Go on File, Export, and you've got the options down on the bottom there, so Adobe PDF, and you've got Adobe PDF Interactive. If you just have it as a regular PDF, none of the interactive features are going to work. So name your document so you know exactly what it is. And when you found a suitable place to save it, make sure you know where you've saved it. Check through all your settings. Make sure it's accurate. Bear in mind this is for screen, so it's all going to be in RGB preferably. On a lot of screens, have a look at the Dpi scaling on it. If you're using a Mac, a modern one, then it's going to have high DPI. But bear in mind the most common screen resolution for laptops still in the UK is 1920 by 1080. As normal, ignore all the warnings. And there we go. If you open it in Acrobat, it's going to work okay. See that? That's hovering. You can see a couple of problems I've got already, but teething issues. Click on the color pops up. There you go. This is the problem we have with the text because that's why it should be a single image. There we go. So click on next page, it does go to the next page and watch the video. However, because I haven't enabled this in my Acrobat, it's unfortunately not going to work yet. So do ensure that you do this before you go and use this for presentation. And it's good to export it fairly frequently so you know what you've done, what you haven't done. So you can try opening it in a web browser. Safari doesn't work, unfortunately. It doesn't work in preview. Acrobat is the best place to probably do this. Chrome does work sometimes, but you've got to bear in mind that quite a few things will break. So do triple check everything you've done before you try and present with it. This is Safari attempting to do it. See what works for you. I'd recommend Acrobat. Thanks for watching, and